vibrant cultural sites, yet the costs often seem overwhelming. But with Visit Tanzania for Less, exploring this East African gem on a budget is not only possible, but incredibly rewarding. Whether you're a solo backpacker, a volunteer, or just a budget-conscious traveler, we provide valuable insights and resources to make your journey unforgettable without breaking the bank. Book your trip now with just a $300 deposit and flexible monthly payments until your travel date. For more travel inspiration and tips, follow us on Instagram or visit us at visittanzaniaforless.com. Visit Tanzania for Less, your dream adventure within reach.
And welcome to Community Focus. Boy, that music gets us. MJ Production, you know you clowned on that.
Yeah.
Welcome to Community Focus. I'm Gregory T. Roberts.
I'm Melvin C. Burns II.
And welcome to the show. And it's your show for news, information, and more, covering the city, the state, the nation, and international news. What's going on, my brother?
Oh, I'm good, my brother. Staying warm in this 20-degree balmy weather we had out
Yeah. It's weather a heat wave right now.
Yeah.
And speaking of, listen, we just got to do some housekeeping. We want to thank our sponsors. We can't do this without a sponsor. And if you would like to be a sponsor, please, you can call 727-5007. Next to talk to Janae or Big Rob. Tanzania. I just kill that every time. Bishop Custom Series in Entertainment. We cannot thank you enough. And also PA's business. You can afford to go to Tanzania. Visit Tanzania for less. And we want to thank them and for sponsoring us. How's the weather looking today?
Well, brother, as you know, we after a gripping week,
Gripping
cold, we're in double digits.
Yes.
Low today of 14, high of 22. Saturday, low 22, high of 33. That means things will start to melt a little bit.
Yep.
Sunday, partly cloudy, low 20, high 26. Monday, breezy, low 25, high of 35. Tuesday, low 24, high 33. Wednesday, low 20, high of 33. Thursday, low of 15, high of 25. And just a little fact for people, just so you know, they're plowing streets, but the salt does not work until around 23, 24 degrees. So as the temperature rises by tomorrow, we should start to see some of that salt that's being applied make a little better effect on the roads out there.
Okay. We have a new segment that we're going to start real quick before we get our new guest. And it's our top 5 Burns top 5 stories of the week.
And you may have some other, but hey, here's some things going on in the news. First, internationally, we have the ceasefire in the Gaza between Israel and Palestine. They're exchanging hostages. Let's hope this ceasefire turns into a permanent peace. Second story, wildfires are back. After a little brief break, as people were able to survey the damage in California, in some parts of California, the fires have returned. A big concern because some of the winds are picking up. The president is slated to head out there this weekend and get a firsthand view of some of the devastating damage by the fire. You know, you still, if you're watching TV, you hear stories of celebrities and families and people you know who've just lost everything.
I have an aunt that lost a house that they have been there since 65.
Just devastating. So that's number 2. Number 3, ICE, Homeland Security, has begun the raids. They are going through the cities and looking for what they call illegal aliens. It started.
Yep. We'll be talking more about that.
Yes. The other national news related is if you watched any of the news after the inauguration, the president signed a number of executive orders. One of those orders did away with DEI and mental DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion departments, and emphasis in many federal agencies, all federal agencies. That was followed by a number of companies saying they were doing away with DEI activities. So we'll wait to see how that shakes out. And again, we know DEI has kind of become a code word, and some people don't realize how far sweeping that is. We did a show 2 weeks ago
Oh,
to want a little
diversity.
more insight on what DEI means and what it means to companies. Catch that show. Um, our last fifth story, just the cold. We just
Oh,
talked about
cold.
the cold that's taken not just Michigan. I mean, we can handle a little bit, we think.
But
Alabama, Tennessee,
blizzards
Texas,
in New Orleans.
snow in Florida.
Hmm.
I mean, it's we shouldn't laugh, but we do kind of laugh at the people in the other parts of the country are experiencing this for the first time. And again, they're in communities that aren't prepared for this. But when I was talking to a friend in Florida, she says, "Yeah, they got snow down in Key West." I'm like,
Yeah, places that they don't even have snow trucks.
yeah. So that's our top five for the week.
All right. Speaking of top five, listen, our today's show takes on a local flavor. Um, this man is no stranger to Muskegon and what he does. Welcome to the show. Put your hands together for Mr. Max McKee. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, and it's really great to be on your show. And I want to say, Greg and Melvin, you guys bring so much to Muskegon. We just lack news. We lack knowledge of what's going on. And I'm so happy that we have you guys spreading what's going on so people are informed and they can make the good decisions. We just don't have enough people that are informed. And thank God for you guys.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
One thing I want to say to you, kudos to you because you put your money where your mouth is. You've invested in Muskegon public schools and for the investment of Muskegon, and we want to thank you for your contributions to Muskegon.
Well, thanks. I've got a lot of people that I work with that help me and enable me to kind of choose to do some of these things, and so I'm a very fortunate man, and I hope I can give back to some degree.
Okay, Max, tell our listeners and viewers a little bit about yourself, people that don't know Max.
Okay. Boy, I'm glad you're asking me and not my wife. Well, a little bit about the company, which entails me. I'm involved. The company was founded by my grandfather and his colleagues in 1933. We're down at the Mart Dock. That's where that boat is, the LST. You can see it right across from LC Walker Arena. We've got about 40 acres there. It's a maritime dock established in 1933. And we've done maritime work, but we store right now. We've done a lot of different things. The old ice arena, and it was a boxing arena. The auditorium was down at the Mart Dock, and that building still stands. And by the way, that will be part of this transformation that we hope will be approved by those that need to approve it. So we've been here since 33. West Michigan Dock and Market, also known as the Mart Dock. I'm the president. I started in 1991 here. I'm an attorney by education and practiced for a little bit, but came and joined the company in 91. Have been here since, and just love Muskegon. And we're quite involved in Muskegon. Not only do we have this project that I'm about to speak of, but we've got some development going down near Harbortown, a 200 plus unit development that will be probably digging the dirt next summer. And then we also just purchased some property next to the Coles plant, and we'll be doing some development there. But And those are great projects, but I'm excited, and I think the community should be really excited about the project we're going to talk about today.
Why don't we dig right into it, because it's exciting news. I had a chance to look at an interview that was recently done that you provided us. So let Muskegon know what you guys are proposing to happen.
Okay, well, to understand the whole picture, we need to know that this is going to be not something that's done in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. It's something that can be done, that will have stages over 5, 10, 15, 20 years and grow, and especially the economic portion of it. And by that, I mean the economic portion, what the port can bring. What we propose to do, and there's still a lot of work to be done, and these are just the first steps to get us in the right direction. But what we propose to do is sort of reestablish Muskegon as a port. You know, it was once known as the port city,
Mhm.
and reestablish port trade here. And I've got some wonderful people that we work with, and Chuck Cainstraight is our general manager and president of our parent company, Sand Products, and Port City Marine. We operate vessels. That's our main business, is operating vessels. And Chuck does that. He leads that charge, and he's leading this charge to establish Muskegon as a destination port for container goods, agricultural goods from the state, and from other states coming back and forth, and using Muskegon as the main port for the transformation of these products onto a different mode of transportation, whether it's rail or truck, or more likely creating some value added to whatever product comes. And we have made strides. Chuck's made some great strides with Chicago and Milwaukee about that. It's basically a highway. It's a highway that will carry goods back and forth from Chicago and Milwaukee to Muskegon. We've done some work. Chuck's done some work on that. We're going to be a little tight-lipped on it for now, but we've done more work than I'm going to reveal on that. But where it comes in, and what's exciting for me, is that the port. Think of the port. When you go to an airport or you go to another port on the water, what is around it? Logistics, assembly, manufacturing, production facilities with jobs. The buildings with jobs, and it means jobs. And people say, well, Max, you know, the economic benefit, how many people are going to be on your ships? We might have 20, 30, maybe it'll grow to 40. And by the way, those are great jobs, family sustaining jobs, and with great benefits, insurance, and everything. And they take care of you when you're older. So those are going to be good jobs. But where the hundreds of jobs are going to come is these manufacturing, production, distribution, logistic facilities, that when you go to an airport, what do you see? That's what you see around airports. When you're driving into the airport, you see all these buildings with all these parking spaces and all these jobs. Same thing with the seaport. That is what this can bring to Muskegon. And that's what I'm excited about, the jobs that it can bring to the community. So what we need to do, many things, but the first step is the MART dock is just right downtown. It's not suited for a port. Increasing port activity. The MART dock, I think a lot of people feel, should be more of a waterfront experience for people to come, walk along the perimeter, walk along our 3rd Street property, which is wide open and a beautiful piece of property, and create kind of a park leisurely experience, along with mixed use development. And so I do want to say, we're having a public hearing. There's 3 of them. The city is putting on public engagement sessions where people can participate and listen to this opportunity. The first one is January 27th at the Smith Ryerson Sims building at 6:00. And so that's Monday. I just want to get that in there. They can also go to the Muskegon website, and the Muskegon's done a wonderful job with their website. And it's Connect Muskegon, and then you can go to, and this perfectly describes the project. It's connecting community to the water, ports, and parks.
Okay.
So the key is for us to leave the port activity that we currently have at the Mart Dock and go over to Fisherman's Landing and do that at Fisherman's Landing. Now wait, Fisherman's, oh no, I camp there, I golf there, or I boat there. I want, the boat ramps and the boating and the fishing are all going to stay.
Okay.
We are proposing to take the campground portion, which, by the way, there are some City of Muskegon residents that go there, and the City of Muskegon owns it, but not a lot. But the best part of that is that the county now is putting together a plan to have camping down at the dunes, which is the old sand mine they bought on Lake Michigan. And that would be a brand new, fully equipped campground, obviously right on the water. There's actually a couple lakes inside those dunes that are, just feet away, hundreds of feet away from the Lake Michigan. And so the campers can go there. So the benefits then are enormous. In return, the city gets, if you're familiar, we call it the 3rd Street Wharf. It's that property next to the Shoreline Hotel. You know where that is, Greg?
Yep.
Yes.
And so the city would utilize the perimeter of that for recreation, camp, or picnicking, fishing, boardwalk, the whole bit. And the city then would take the proceeds, any proceeds from our obtaining Fisherman's Landing, the campground only, and use that to buy some property near Richards Park. Richards Park is over by the causeway. And there's about it's on the website how many how many feet it is of waterfront, but you double, maybe even triple. I don't quote me, but you at least double the amount of waterfront available to the public, and there would be about 25 acres or so available for the public for a boardwalk and an estuary. The West Michigan Regional Shoreline District and Kathy Evans and their group would create an estuary there, which would jump in. I'm just going on and on. So jump.
Max, let me ask you a question.
All right.
So where you'd move some of your operation to at Fisherman's Landing, I'm assuming this, but would it be compatible with the fishing and boating activities that take their place there now?
Great question. Yeah, it would be. Ours would be closer to Muskegon Lake, on the lake there, and so we wouldn't have to touch the fishing. There already are ships that go into that slip, and they service the salt dock, and you can't get more than one ship in there. So that it's not like it would be squeezed, because you can only get one ship at a time in there. So, and so when the ship's in there, there's still plenty of room for the boats to get around it, and that's a great question.
Max, what do you say to people that they say that the accessibility to go fishing, like you used to be able to reach the lake and take your son or daughter to get fishing? What do you say to people when it comes down to this project?
Oh, you're going to get a lot more. You're going to be able to fish along our 3rd Street Wharf. You're going to be able to fish along what we call the Verplank CMS property. That's the 25 acres I was speaking of near Richards Park. You're going to get, Jonathan Seifert, the city manager, did a good job showing how much more waterfront access and fishing there will be. It will be I think more than double the amount. A lot of people fish near right now along the bike path near the Muskegon River. And imagine if you've been there, imagine taking that boardwalk and extending it out towards the lake. Nice. And so that people can then go out towards the lake and fish along the river, more along the river, parallel to the river instead of perpendicular, and then out into Lake Michigan. In fairness, not Lake Michigan, Muskegon Lake. In fairness, probably the Muskegon Lake portion, they're going to have to cast their line out there quite a bit because it's sort of shallow, but there'll be plenty of more fishing.
Okay. Max, let me ask you about the business side. You talk about the future growth of use of the port. Is there anything that needs to be done at the city, county, state, or federal level to increase the business aspect of how the port Muskegon is used?
Yeah, quite a bit. We got to start right away with the city getting on board, and many of them already are. There's going to be naysayers, and that's going to happen no matter what. But we're and it's funny. I just had a nice discussion via text with the mayor, and we both agreed the more people understand and know what's going on, then they get on board. Those that don't know what's going on, those that are against it, they don't know the full impact. And they
Okay.
say, Fisherman's Landing, we're going to lose fish. Oh, no way. Well, no, look what you're getting. And so anyway, so I think just knowledge, and that's why we're out there. And that's why I'm thankful for you, and that's why the city's having these 3 engagement sessions to provide that knowledge and understanding.
So again, to our listeners and viewers, give us that information of where people will have a chance to hear more about this endeavor.
Sure. The best thing is to get on the it's called Connect Muskegon through the city of Muskegon, and it's headlined Connecting Community to the Water, Ports, and Parks. It's featured predominantly. You'll see it. And then they do an outline of it, and it's a good outline. And it's pretty exhaustive. But here are the dates if you want to get a pen and pencil, folks, in the times. January 27th, 6 o'clock at Simray Community Building at Smith Ryerson Park. February 4th at 5:30 at the Department of Public Works. February 4th is a Tuesday. And then February 17th at 4 o'clock at the GVSU Hub, the Muskegon Innovation Hub, which is right on the water there. Those are the 3 engagement sessions. That's where people can go. This isn't a done deal. This is where they can come and provide their input and learn more about it.
Max, will you come and keep us update on this? Because like you said, this is not something that's going to happen quickly, but we need to stay informed about this project.
Absolutely. And I would love to, and I would appreciate it that just to keep everybody informed. And as I said, I thank you guys. This is exciting. And this really down the road could be just a big thing for economic development in Muskegon and jobs. And that's the exciting part. But the bonus is you get more waterfront. There really are a lot of wins. And as I said, I appreciate this. The more people know about it, it's really hard to say this is not a good thing.
The last thing, I was looking at the presentation. I was so surprised how many boats and how many connections that come in already, but the possibility of how many more could come into Muskegon.
Absolutely. Well, and there's you saw that presentation from Chuck that had all outlined all the boats. He started locally and then he went worldwide to show how important it is shipping, because it's the cheapest way to move goods. It's also the most environmentally friendly way to move goods. But Muskegon, we can get more boats, for sure, and more boats carrying products that need to be handled or changed in some way. That's where the jobs come.
All right. Thank you, sir. Max, we thank you so much, and we'll be talking to you soon, sir.
I thank you too. And Greg, I'm sure I'll see you around the town. I see you quite a bit. So, yeah. All right. Thanks.
Take care.
All right. Take care now.
That was Max McKee. Looking at the presentation, I think Muskegon is very, very important that you guys, those 3 days, the 27th, the 4th, and the 17th, get out to see the presentation, because I looked at the presentation and it's quite impressive. My thing is that we, the average Joe, don't lose ability to take our sons and daughters to go fishing.
Yes. people, and we in election time, a lot of people say, well, we don't know what's going on in Muskegon. So these are plans that affect the next 10, 15 years. They haven't thought of everything. Get to those public engagement sessions. If you have thoughts, comments, concerns, get there and voice those. These are plans, which mean they can change or they can make adaptations to it. But you got to get to those public engagement sessions, not 5 years down the road when they're building and say, hey, they should have thought of this. So I want to encourage you all to get to those public engagement sessions, learn what's going on, ask questions, be heard.
Matter of fact, you heard it here first, because a lot of that news was exciting news, like move into campground that the city is talking about expanding, making a bigger campground, which that was exciting news because I know a lot of family members and people that use that facility. Well, listen, you are listening and watching Community Focus with Gregory T. Roberts and Melvin Burns. We're going to come back with our second session. We're going to take a break, pay some bills, and we'll be back. This is Community Focus on 103.7 to be and M106. See you in a second.
The wait is over. The all-new Umoja Radio Network, home to over 40 Black-owned radio stations and podcasts, is here for you. Connect to the world's fastest-growing collection of unapologetically Black and proud media, from podcasts to independent Black-owned radio stations, and access to the important news and music you need. Umoja Radio is from our culture, by our culture, for our culture. The all-new Umoja Radio is available right now on Google Play and the Apple Store. Join the movement. Be empowered.
Welcome back to Community Focus with Gregory T. Roberts and Pastor Melvin Burns. We want to again thank our sponsors, Bishop Custom Series and Entertainment in Tanzania for less. And I'm slaughtering that, and it just kills me that I'm doing that. All right. Listen, there's a project that is happening that we just found out about, and it's dealing with a church that we are quite familiar with and a person that I'm very good friends with. Some people see us and they say, there go your twin. But anyway, I want to, and I call him, he's a pastor, but I call him my AD as well, because he's my AD as well. So we're going to bring first to the show, Community Focus, Pastor Art Duren. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine. Hey, listen, I got some construction going on in my house. I wasn't planning on it, so it's kind of loud. I don't know if it's loud on your end, but they're doing some real serious demolition in my house. I don't have anywhere to go because it's so cold outside. So we're excited about this event that's coming up on the 23rd with this movie called Possum Trot. We're talking about we really want to get more African American families involved in the foster care, and we're so excited that we partner with. Can you hear that loud noise?
No. Hold on. Just we want to bring some other people in. We have Lashae, Simmons, and we also have Delores. We have other people here as well. So how you guys doing?
I'm doing great. How are you all?
Good.
I'm
All right.
great. Thanks for asking.
All right. So listen, you want, and looking at what you're talking about doing, tell us a little bit about the church and what you're trying to do. Wait a minute. People are already saying hello. From Houston, Texas, Michael Anthony says, my man, Stu Man. How you?
Hey, how you doing?
Okay,
Well,
so anyway,
I'm excited.
welcome to the show. Welcome to Community Focus. You guys came up with this idea about families, and there's a great film out there, and we don't want to talk about it. We want you to talk about it. So let us know a little bit about what you're trying to do.
You want
So I'm
me to
going to let
chime in?
Delores talk. Yeah, because the sound system in the back is so loud. So I'm going to let you talk, and then I'll come in.
Okay, I'll open up and then I'll let the other two finish up.
How you doing, Delores?
I'm doing good. And Melvin, my classmate.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you all?
Good.
Okay, so we're really excited about this movie, showing this movie at Kingdom Embassy. And it's a true story about a pastor and a wife who led a small community in East Texas to embrace a group of children that were in foster care. And they really couldn't afford it, but the community stepped in and helped them out to be able to do this. And what we want to do is bring awareness to the need in our community for more people of color, Black and brown people, to become foster parents. I myself am a foster parent right now. I have custody of my three young grandchildren, and Lashae also, and she'll tell you her story too, but she is also a foster parent right now. And I am a licensed foster parent, so I can still take more children, but three is a lot right now. So I'm gonna stick with what I have right now. But we want to make people aware of the numbers in Muskegon County. But in Michigan, 31% of the children in foster care system, 31% of the children are Black, yet over 50% of the children in foster, there's over 50% of the children that are in foster care that are people of color.
Wow.
And in Muskegon County, there's only I think it's only 1% of the families are people of color that are fostering children. So we want to be able to break those barriers so that we can make sure that people of color are allowed to foster the children that are in the system that look like them. The children, the parents look like them. So that's the thing we wanted to bring awareness of. We're going to have a Q&A after the movie, and we want people to come and ask questions about why is it like this, and we want to be able to at least bring 6 more licensed homes in the Muskegon County area.
Okay.
From the 49441, 49444, and 49442 area codes. And that's where, the biggest population of Black people of color are. So that's what we want to do. We want to bring awareness to this and try to do something to help with it. I am a recruitment and retention coordinator with the Family Bound agency, and that's my job, to try to bring awareness and get results in what we're doing.
Lashae, let's hear a little bit about your story.
Absolutely. So a similar story. I actually have my nephew who, at the time when he was placed with us, he was 4 months, going on 5 months. He actually turned 5 months a couple days after getting him. And I personally had never considered foster care at all. So it definitely was a family situation. And I believe that, you're supposed to help family when they're going through something if you're able to. It definitely was a life adjustment. So now he is 10 months. Actually, he'll be 1 in March. And we're super excited to celebrate his first birthday. But one thing that I noticed in being in foster care, there's a couple different things, right? Especially if you're dealing with a fictive kin situation, and that's what they call the situation if you are related to, the family that you're fostering in any sense. So if it's a fictive kin situation, you're kind of battling 2 parts. One, you see the system one way, and then the other part is you still know your family, right? And you know what they're doing, so you're very close to the situation. And one of the things that I tell any and everyone is your standard for what needs to happen for a child to return home is not the system standard. So you have to come into the situation with some understanding. And when we talk about the Muskegon County community and the percentage of young children that are children of color that are in the system, and then we talk about the number of households where these children can be placed that look like them, there's a huge deficit. So it's actually less than 1% of Black households that are licensed foster care homes. Myself personally, I am not a licensed foster care individual. However, if it becomes a situation where I need to, I will, but only for this particular situation. So I think there's some misconceptions. Sometimes people think that you have to be licensed, but there's some other things that you can do to still be able to help this particular community and be people of color. And so one of the things that we really want to do is raise awareness, yes, but also educate these individuals on what it takes to become a foster, parent. And if you have to go through licensing immediately, is it always a plus to have? Absolutely. But is it always necessary immediately? No. So just making sure that some of those stereotypical things where we talk about, well, why aren't these Black households, licensed? is it because of the economic situation that maybe they're in, or is it because they don't exactly know where to start, who to go to, or are there some systematic injustices that they're currently facing where maybe they're more likely to be denied? We're not exactly sure what the fact is. We all have our assumptions and thoughts. However, if we all come together and we say this is what it takes to become this said thing, and as Ms. Delores said, get to the point where we're starting to license some of these homes, or at least putting them in the room so that they have adequate information, and maybe they can take on a family and then get licensed at a later time. I think that'll reduce the gap. It'll reduce some of those barriers, and then it will help to make sure that some of those children are in culturally yoked environments.
Pastor Durham, how important is it that the church take a lead in important things like this instead of waiting for things to happen? That the church are out there taking the lead and educating and making things happen.
It's extremely, extremely important because you got to remember the history uh, of the African American community is the church. The church has always been that hub, that community, that place where you come and find out information. If you want to know what was going on, if you wanted jobs, or you want to find out the best school, or whatever you want to do, anything you want to know about the Black community, it was there at that church that everything was disseminated. So here's the thing that's so important. I think we service so many people in the community of color, and they give us our tithe, they give us our offering for us as a church, and we have a responsibility and obligation to say, hey, let's take the lead on this. Let's get involved. If we have members in our church, let's educate them. Let's open. If you don't want to do it, I want you to be a part of the community that can get the message out, because you may not like to do it, but maybe someone in your family or someone that's close to you that may be involved. And it's going to happen through the church. Almost all of us in the African American community is connected somehow in the church. So if the church take the lead, and we have a larger audience to reach, we reach a great number of people every Sunday physically, but we also reach a great number of people over the internet. So a lot of people are listening to our voice. A lot of people respect our voice, right? And respect what we're doing. And our whole mission is to love people and to care for people and to serve people. And this is a great opportunity to serve. I've never been involved directly with foster care, but my nephew, that I didn't even know who he was, that his foster parent died and the daughter had him. And she just said, well, I'm giving him away. You got to come and get him. I didn't know who he was. He ended up being in my life and was the greatest blessing in my life. And he pretty much was raised in my home until he went to college and all that. So it ended up being a great situation. I was not licensed. I did everything except, and I think the issue was, she wanted to keep all the resources where it was, and which I didn't care. We wanted the kid to be loved and cared for. And that's the big thing. The kids need to be loved and cared for. And that's what we're trying to get kids in safe environments where someone can care for them. They feel like they have a home and they feel like they're loved. And I think the church is the very, very best opportunity and the best place for anyone to really want to figure out what love is all about. And the place to start is in the church. That's why I think the church should get involved. That's what we preach every Sunday.
Let's go to Houston, Texas. Michael Anthony Smith said, just watch the trailer. It's awesome. Okay.
And all three of you all, when you talk about foster care, you relate to relatives. And I want to ask you this, or help people with this. I know I found, even doing our food pantry, we get grandparents showing up that are taking care of grandkids or great grandkids. So the idea that maybe the need to formalize that relationship and to foster care. And both you, Delores, and you and Lashae kind of talked about different approaches to that. But talk to our listeners out there about the need. Hey, this is my daughter's kid, my son's kid. I look after. Talk about the need to maybe more formalize that relationship into a foster care relationship.
Well, you want to go first, Lashae? Or you?
I can.
Go ahead.
For my situation, it was unique. I got a call. I was at work, and they were like, "They're here right now. And so I was literally in the meeting. I said, "Oh yeah, I gotta go." And I pulled up, and I did not know that he was gonna be with me less than 8 hours, right? So
Uh-huh.
I personally didn't have a whole lot of time to think and, oh, what do I do? So really,
Yeah.
when it comes to formalizing, right? In order to formalize something like that, that means the system has to get involved. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times, family try to interfere or inject themselves before the system gets involved.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes what we have seen in the Black community is that once we're in the system, it is
You stay.
terribly hard to get out of the system. And that
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it
was
is.
honestly one of our family's greatest fears, that if we let him get too far in the system,
Yeah.
we wouldn't be able to reach back and grab him.
Sure.
So it was like, before you schedule a court date, before you sign a piece of paper, I'm already here,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we know that everyone has their struggles and they're doing the best they can to come out of it, whether it's mental illness, whether it's substance abuse, whatever it is. Everyone has their different struggles. And so if I could reach and grab the child before the system reached and grabbed that child,
Mm-hmm.
then I was able to avoid a lot of hackling and a lot of headache.
That's
And
good.
I think that that's the big thing. But once they get in that system and nobody's there to retrieve them before they stay the night somewhere else, you're gonna find yourself in a battle. And I'll take the battle, but if we can avoid the battle, let's avoid the battle. So
Right.
Mm-hmm.
before he was placed anywhere, yep, my doors are open. Here I come. I was literally down the street. I cut that meeting off real quick, and I was there in less than 7 minutes. And I was like, "Well, here's my phone number. What's your phone number? Don't call nobody else before you call me. Matter of fact, I'll come up to wherever you need me to come up to, so that we can avoid that." And this is just my personal opinion, so forgive me for saying this. My situation also, it was a little Black baby. He was 4 months old, going on 5 months. And
Mm.
a lot of times these little Black babies are prime time for the system. And it's easy to get lost in the system because there's a family that may be fostering because they can't have children. So everybody's reason is different.
Mm-hmm.
And it's real hard to let go of a baby once you have a baby.
Mm-hmm.
So, I didn't have a 10-year-old that maybe had behavioral issues. I had someone that you can mold from day one, that you could get attached to from day one. And we wanted to make sure that we just avoided having to reach deep to pull them back out if we could.
Sure. Sure. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Delores.
Okay, my situation was totally different. Our situation, it was a family crisis that happened at the height of COVID, and courts were shut down. Everything was shut down. I actually was living my best life, so I thought, in California with my son.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And I got the call, and I had to drop everything and catch a flight back to Michigan. Um, the children were released to me, but unfortunately, there were people in place. One of the local foster care agencies gave my family a very hard time. My background was clean. Everything was in order. There was no reason why I shouldn't have been able to take my grandchildren, but they started creating stories and things to snatch the kids up away from me.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually had to seek help from a local family court judge who was just reelected. And I'm not going to call any names. And I had to hire an attorney who was a smart attorney. And we literally had to fight to get my grandchildren back in my custody. And for a grandparent, that falls under the kinship thing that Lashae was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
There was no reason why I shouldn't have been able to get my grandchildren and get custody of them. But I was put through a lot more than what she explained. And eventually I was able to go ahead and get them. And that's the one thing that I want to bring to people's attention about, the foster care system. We have rights as grandparents, as kinship family, to get those children. And that's what I mean by the fight. I learned their policies and rules in order to fight them with their policies and rules.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the things we have to be aware of. We have to read the things that they give us and know those things and make sure that we are doing what needs to be done to get those children back in our care. I would probably be in a good position to be an advocate to people, for them to call me when the stuff happens, so I can kind of help them navigate through this stuff, so they can know what their rights are to be able to get their children. And in the process, unfortunately, these children are traumatized. In my situation, my grandchildren were already traumatized because of the situation. And then for them to snatch them away from me and put them with other people, away from us in the loving family, the love and caring and safe place, and then you put them in that situation, and that's not good. But like I said, I had some good people on my side. I even had people from DHS that stepped in and helped me out to get through the situation. So that's why I'm on the other side now, trying to help educate people, let them know what their rights are, so that they can get their children and help them from not being further traumatized by being put with other families, away from their culture, away from the things that they're familiar with, so that they can grow up and be, being loved, be around their family and be in loving families and be taken care of. And there are resources out there for
being one that invited two into our household, and that was one of the best decisions that we ever made. Talk a little bit about, you're going to show the movie, but you also said that you're going to have a panel, and you talked about educating and letting people know. But what should people expect from the panel after the movie?
The panel will be made up of people from the local agencies, from some of the foster care agencies, and from DHS. And those people are some of the licensing people and the people who are social workers that are involved in those different things. So they will be able to answer any questions that they want to find out what is it that they need to do to be set up to be able to become a foster parent. And like Lashae said, you do not have to be a licensed parent in order to be able to get those children. Unfortunately, it happens that way. You have to become licensed to get them in some situations. And, and if you have to do that and sacrifice some things, so be it. That's what I was willing to do to get mine. I was willing to go through the licensing process to get them.
Yeah. When I hear you all talk, Pastor Duren, I hear Delores, a righteous indignation that, hey, these are our kids. These are our family kids, and we're not going to turn them loose. So when people see the movie, what is it you want them to leave there saying or asking?
With the Delores,
I think that's for you, Pastor Duren.
That's to you.
To all three of you.
Well, I'm hoping after watching the movie that it'll pull your heartstring, and you have a desire to be able to say, hey, I want to be involved with this. I want to be the person to take in a child. I don't want to see a child out there lost, right? Because and the reason why I got involved and I was so excited about it is because there are so many children out there with nowhere to go.
Right.
It's not like some families have, they don't have anywhere to put them, and they're looking for places for them to go. And I want to be an advocate for those children, telling parents out there in the community, listen, we need you. And hoping when they see the movie and they see their heart string is pulled and they want to be the one to say, I can make a difference. They're going to see the struggle in the movie. You're going to see the ups and downs, the emotional swings. But what you're going to see in the movie is true love, what love really looks like against all odds. When the kid is dealing with the dynamics of what's happening in their life, the love of the parents is rock solid. Even though people are coming up against them, they remain solid. And then the kids felt the love. And that's what I'm hoping when they watch this movie, that it would touch their heart. And they say, I want to be the one to make a difference in the life of a child. Right. And I think every one of us can do that. And I just believe when you give genuine love to a kid, you can change their life.
Lashae, speak a little bit about And Delores, you touched on this too, and you might want to go revisit it. How important it is that we keep people in our community and that they don't have to go somewhere else. They can be in their community, they can stay with loved ones, they can get a good education and have a quality life. I was in a prison yesterday, and a lot of guys missed out on that opportunity, and all they needed was one person to invite them in.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that privilege and favor may not always be fair, right? But what you do with your privilege and favor is your responsibility, and it should be used to make the world a better place, whatever that is. And I'm not hoping that everybody walks away and they say, "Oh, I'm going to go foster," because it is not for everyone
Right?
and it is not for the weak. So I'm not saying that, but I'm hoping that some people leave educated to know who they can call if they ever find themselves or someone else in a situation where they need some help. And all three of us, well, five of us, I'm sure if they called us, we would happily get them to the proper resources so that the situation can be handled if possible. Um, but you don't have to be rich. I tell everybody that you don't have to be rich, not monetarily at least. You just have to have enough love to give.
Right.
That's really what it's about. I am not rich. I know my kids might think that, but I'm not. Uh, I am not. But what I do have is a rich heart that's full of love, full of willingness to help. And I hope that when I do get to the gates, I come bare because I gave my gifts to the world. And I think that if everybody gets on board with that, your gifts may not be the same as mine. But if we give them to this earthly place, you can make it a better place. And so that's what I want people to know. And that's what I think is important when we talk about community and loved ones and keeping them in the family and doing no harm, right? That's how I feel about it. And that's what I hope people take from it.
Dolores, you want to add anything to that?
Only thing I want to add is that you know I hope people come open-minded to receive the message that we're trying to relate to them. And the most important thing is you got to be willing to sacrifice
Yes.
when you're going into this, and you got to have a lot of love in your heart for children, to be able to endure the things that's going on with them, because like I said, some of them come traumatized, and you got to be able to make sure you get them the right help. You have to spend a lot of time taking them to doctor's appointments and all kind of stuff. So it's all about sacrifice. God sacrificed his son for us that we may live. We have to be willing to sacrifice whatever it is that we think that we might want to be doing, like I said, in this season of my life, and give to the children so that they, can be productive citizens in this world and, go out and do something great. So the love and sacrifice has got to be there.
So give us the date at Kingdom Embassy Covenant Church. Give us the date, the time, and all the information that we need.
It's going to be February 23rd on a Sunday at 4:00. So we get every time, have service, go home, eat dinner, and then come out. We will have refreshments and all that for the people that come out with movies. So it's going to be on a Sunday at 4:00 p.m. on February 23rd.
What's the address?
3025 Glenside Boulevard, Muskegon, Michigan.
Okay, last question to you. How's my daughter doing? And is she taking care of things?
She's the love of my life. Listen, I don't know who her real daddy is, me or you. You treat me like I'm the real dad, but I know you are.
Listen, thank you guys for taking it and being the lead to something that really needs to be addressed.
Thank you all for having us.
All right, take care and God bless.
Bye-bye.
Listen, folks, I can't say this. I know that the church has to take a lead and be the answer to things that are going on.
We used to be a program, one church, one child. Even if you can't do it in your church, if somebody in the church takes it on, find a way to support them. If there's 10 families that say, well, you know what, if you do it, we'll help you. Just, again, it helps relieve that fear of somebody saying, I can't do this. Now, maybe you can't do it by yourself, but man, with God's helping with a group of folks in your church standing behind you, man, there's over 100 churches in Muskegon County.
Right.
Imagine bringing 100 kids out of foster.
And, like they said, you don't have to be licensed. The thing is that I brought in two. We weren't licensed, but, being a coach of one and being the youth pastor of another, we brought them in. So listen, that's the show. And please revisit this. You can revisit it on all our social medias. Once again, we want to thank our sponsors for what they do. We want to thank Lady J, PA, Big Rob, and behind the people behind the scenes that make this show happen. Listen, I'm Gregory T. Roberts. This is Pastor Burns. Remember, we said this year in 2025 is the year that you are going to go out and seek knowledge and wisdom. Go make it happen. Take care. God bless. We'll see you next week.